Stop chasing. All right. Have you ever sat and been like, hold up, the market is acting a little weird? If you've been trading for a little while, have you noticed just a bit of a shift in the market? If you're new to trading, does it seem chaotic with rapid reversals and just all kinds of things that are just making the market just seem very difficult? I'm here to tell you that you're not tripping. Okay. I'm going to explain to you exactly what has taken place in the market and why the market is going through a rewiring and finding a new identity. What you can do to still profit big in this type of market during this shift, and how you can avoid being a victim. All right, but before I jump into the video, I need you guys to take a moment to like and subscribe, right? You don't want to miss any more of these value pack videos. My lives, my videos are going to keep you abreast on the best and latest information in the market to make you profitable. We go over live setups in the market on my lives, and we go over different strategies that you can deploy in this type of market in all my other videos. Today, I'm going to dive into what has taken place to change almost the complete structure and personality of the stock market. This is something that nobody's talking about, and we're seeing a lot of people, especially some of these gurus and popular people in this space that you love to follow, getting it wrong and then hiding their hand and pretending as if they never took these major losses. Now, what you want to understand is that there has been an introduction of zero DTEs to the Magnificent Seven. If you are not familiar with zero DTE, go look it up. Zero DTE means 0 days to expiration. Okay? 0 days to expiration means that you have to get in and out of that stock within the same day in order to profit or make money. Okay? So that was something that was normally exclusive to indexes like IWM, SPY, and things of that sort. But now they've introduced it to 7 of the biggest companies in the world. Now, this is creating a major shift in the market because what has to happen is a little bit different than what used to carry the market. Now, in the past, the market was carried by complete institutions, right? It was an institutional market. Now, it's still an institutional market to an extent. The order blocks and stuff like that still matter that we use in our charts. They're still very important. But I'm going to explain to you how it's kind of shifting to the retailers driving the market, right? So with zero DTEs being, on all the Magnificent Seven, it's not just impacting those stocks. It's having an impact on the entire market. You're seeing drastic reversals, right? Drastic pumps. You're seeing days where there's rug pulls a little bit more frequently. There was a time where rug pulls would happen like once every 3 to 5 months. But now you're seeing rug pulls on a every 3-week basis, right? The reason for this is because the retailers, like I said, are in the driver's seat now. So typically the market makers are taking positions that are in opposition of what retailers are doing. So you buy a call, and then typically the market makers are, will take a position in the opposite direction. Okay. So the institutions now, what they're doing is they're hedging against the directional trades from the retail traders. So if we're saying that Microsoft or Palantir wants to go up, the way that the market makers, like I said, who are in the opposite position are hedging are by buying shares. So what happens is that the more in the direction that the retailers want it to go in, right, the more shares that have to be purchased by the market makers or institutions in order for their hedges to work out, right, in order for them to be protected. So what that inevitably causes is a lot of drastic drops when we're getting close to these expiration dates as a result of retailers seeing how they're being pushed out of their positions and they have very little time to make any sort of adjustments. See, when weekly was the only expiration, then we could sit a little bit longer. But because of expiration dates with four and I'm sorry, with Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the Magnificent Seven now it's like the accuracy has to be way better. So a lot of times the market is still going in the direction. Again, even with the hedges, that the hedges is kind of like helping the retail traders out to an extent because it is buying up the shares, right? But what happens is that a quick sell off, right, could just knock you out your position. A quick reversal, a quick profit taking. If there is some sort of morning time consolidation, right? This is why we're also seeing like major reversals in the afternoon, which is something that wasn't really a thing before. All right. So when the stocks decide to to, like I said, reverse a little early on, fear creeps in and fear goes to an all-time high, which leads to sell-offs being more typical. Okay. So here's what you do as a retail trader. You firstly want to forget about zero DTEs. All right. You don't want to be the person that's caught up in a zero DTE on a Magnificent Seven, right? The index is, if that's how you're used to trading and scalping, cool. But the scalping game for the zero DTEs for the Magnificent Seven is going to be a roller coaster ride. Okay, so if you don't want the headache, if you don't want the headache of the back and forth and the volatility, you want to stay away from zero DTEs. Okay, also understand that it is a mind game because, again, they are hedging by actually pushing the stock in your direction, right? It actually will eventually go in your direction, but you're going to need a little bit more time. You want to pay attention to market structure, okay? It was a time where, just the technical indicators were enough. But in this time, and please pay attention to this, what you also want to focus on is order flow. Okay? Order flow is going to be critical. This is the very thing that is going to allow you to see when some of those, those quick moves are coming in because of how quickly the volume may be coming in. If you see a ton of puts coming in to a Microsoft move that you may have to the upside, it could mean that you may be about to get swept out of your position temporarily. Okay? Now, again, it may be going in that direction the way that it needs to based off of daily technicals, but remember, we're used to weekly expirations and so forth. So you having a position for the same day, even if you are on the daily time frame where it should be a confirmation day, that day may struggle extremely, right? It may be a dog fight for it to actually wind up working out. But the mental capacity that you use, the drawdown that you see, is going to ruin your experience as a trader. All right. So I want you guys to understand that in this terrain, it is important to not just read the technicals and stuff like that, but also put your minds in the mind of a market maker and understand how they hedge. All right. I'll make another video that goes more in depth into the hedging strategies that are used, but just understand that what you're seeing, you're not tripping about at all. Okay. The market is definitely the wild, wild west right now. And if you are new and not aware of this and you're still following age-old teachings about how to maneuver in the market, you're going to get chewed up, I promise you. Okay, this is not an industry or a space to play around in not knowing what you're doing. All right, I see so many people on social media and on YouTube still spewing and teaching this old way of trading, right? Not even considering order flow and how much you can get screwed on zero DTEs. Okay, There's people that trade that haven't even really noticed that there's been this major change in the market, which is kind of scary, especially if you're on the teaching side. Okay, so if you want to hear more about things like this and like developments in the market, how to navigate them, how to stay profitable, it'd be a smart thing to just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. All right, like this video because I really want people to understand this. I'm tired of seeing people lose money in the market unnecessarily. All right, again, remember, zero DTEs mean that you have to get out that day. All right, something can have a beautiful technical setup and then you can get rug pull. A lot of times we're seeing this rug pull happen on Tuesday, right? With Wednesday being the that expiration. Now, a zero DTE has to be, it's considered a zero DTE when it's bought that same day. But we also have, midweek expiration if you buy something on a Tuesday, right? So, or if you buy something on a Monday, you could buy midweek expiration as well. It's not always Friday now. You could buy a Wednesday expiration. So we're seeing a lot of rug pulls on Tuesday, right? I've been calling banger after banger on my live, right? Going 9 for 9, and then getting a rug pull and that being the one thing that ever interrupts any of our trading, right? The levels have been clean. The quality of trades I've been choosing has made people a lot of money. And I'm telling you that this is something that you really, really need to pay attention to, okay? Get on the lives, right? Watch the lives, soak in the wisdom and understand that the market is not the same market from the pandemic. You got people trading, oh, when this EMA crosses over this EMA, get in. No! The EMA tricks don't work anymore. The MACD tricks don't work anymore. You got to really understand this stuff. And this is the reason you're seeing so much, so much manipulation in a lot of the people that are teaching this, and they're trying to get you to buy all these. They're trying to figure it out themselves. They're still stuck in a lot of the old way of trading. Just like every industry, trading evolves. And if you're saying the same thing every couple of years, and you're hearing the same thing from people, you're not seeing anything change, right? That means that they're not really studying. They're not keeping a pulse on the market. Now, things do stay the same. There are certain things like the idea of a trend line, right? The concept of a trend line is something that is like a evergreen kind of a concept. But when it comes to like these trick scalping plays where people are using EMAs, in different indicators as a means of like grabbing something quickly, you do not want to get caught up in that because everything is going to be told in the order flow. There are going to be things taking place in order flow that they precede the technicals, right? There are things that happen in the order flow that precede the technicals that make what you're seeing on the charts almost a lagging indicator. So by the time you're getting into something that looks like it may be clean on the chart for the short term, you might get pushed out of that or swept out of that position because you don't know how much is coming into that particular stock, right? It's a different ball game, and I want y'all to wake up, okay? Again, if you do not want to be a victim of the market, right? Follow the channel, join the Prosperity Collective, right? We have affordable prices. We're not trying to hit your head all crazy. We're not trying to upsell you into anything. We just want to make sure that you are protected in this volatile market, okay? Also, the influx of media and AI and the speed in which we're receiving information and bots is also changing the nature of the market. So again, a lot of the stuff that are in these courses that you might have taken 4 or 5 years ago that people are still recycling to you, it may not be good information, okay? It's time to lock in. Remember, invest smart so that you can live free, okay? Also, hit the subscribe button, okay? Like I said, I don't want y'all to miss it, all right? I go live every day at 11:30 Pacific, 2:30 Eastern, okay? If there's ever a change or something like that, like I'll make a post on YouTube. I also posted in the group that, hey, there may be a rescheduling because life happens and there's things that come up. But for the most part, Monday through Friday, I'm there about an hour and a half before the market closes to give you the levels that you need to be successful. Now, if you go back and just look at the lives, you can see my track record, right? This is not some random guy talking to you. All right, we have a track record of winning. That's why they call me the Swing King. All right, I didn't come up with the name; they did. All right, so look, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.